don't run after notes. Notes is a part of our journey. Every day we feel that maybe we are not enough, maybe what we are doing is wrong, we are not getting the desired results. So my friends have been particularly very supportive. They've always said कि भाई तेरा हो जाएगा.
Hello everyone, welcome to this podcast. It's in a way an honor and a privilege to be able to sit here and interact with one of our own. Uh, why do I say that it's a privilege and honor? Because I know this gentleman from last few weeks and we have had regular interaction, and I'm on record saying that he is one of the finest gentlemen I have come across during this last year's preparation cycle. So first of all, many congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And
Thank you.
I'm absolutely sure that 30 years down the line or 35 years down the line, when you'll hang your shoes, when you'll retire, the whole state will be proud of you.
Thank you so much.
And now, mark my words, I've stated it on record. Also, do not get carried away by his charming smile, his good looks. इसके पीछे बहुत sharp memory है, sharp mind है. You will come across that sharp mind in course of this interaction. Most of you by now, through thumbnail and the last couple of days, the way the result has been celebrated, must have come to know who this gentleman is. But those of you, which is a very rare possibility, but if there is anybody who does not know, I'll request you to please say something about yourself.
Before I say that, firstly, thank you for those kind words, Mayur sir. My name is Dhritiman Burman, and I have cleared the APSC CCE examination. I have secured APS Rank 3 this year, and a lot of this is because of the gentleman sitting to me, next to me right here. To say something about myself, I've done my graduation from University of Delhi in Political Science Honours in the year 2022. This is where I started trusting myself to join or to become a civil servant. In 2023, I joined Masters in Public Administration from Jamia Millia Islamia. Last year, when I post-graduated myself, then I thought maybe I can try the APSC examination, and this was my first exam that I was appearing, and with God's grace I passed the prelims exam, subsequently mains, and after which when I came for interview at CSAP IAS Academy, I met sir, and since then it has been a roller coaster ride with you, sir, and that is how everything began.
So thoughtful of you for mentioning that. But for our viewers, just one small reminder which he did not discuss about or he did not highlight about. I want you to speak about how much time did you actually have before appearing for APSC prelims.
Sir, to be really honest, I did not have much time because my core focus was for the UPSC examination. And last year, for those of us who do not know, that there was a gap of 2 weeks, if I correctly recall, between the prelims exam of UPSC and APSC. So I appeared for the UPSC prelims exam, and after which there was a gap of 2 weeks in which I decided that let's give a try at APSC exam also. I had filled the form earlier only, but I was not very sure or not very serious as well, I must say that. But then I appeared and thankfully it happened. But to be really honest, I very much got serious about the mains exam because there was little time to prepare. The results came in mid-July. I was in Delhi back then, so I had to shift back to first Guwahati. That was my first priority because I could not do it from there. So I first shifted back to Guwahati. It took some time. There was some challenges there as well, and that is where the role of my family comes in. So they made it more simpler for me as far as that shifting was concerned. If I correctly recall, it was 19th of August. Roughly 50 days I had, 50 or 55 days roughly I had before the mains examination, which was in October 11, 12 and 13, I remember. So I did not have much time back then. So when I shifted and I started studying everything, I felt like whole world is falling apart, and I'm not prepared, and I'm not able to. My answer writing speed is not getting there, is not evolving. It's not developing. My content is very average. Even I myself started to think that maybe this is going to be a waste attempt. But then somehow as time passed, somehow I just gathered my thoughts over the time and took as much help from people around. My friends have been particularly very helpful with me, to me and with me. That helped. So that is how subsequently I appeared for the mains, and thankfully that happened as well.
And look how it turned out.
Exactly.
I would like to bring attention of our viewers back to the first point I mentioned. You must have realized why did I categorically spoke about the brilliance of his mind. The psychology or the frame of mind, the state of mind which we are in once the UPSC prelims is done, and then there's a gap of 12 to 15 days, and you have to appear in another equally difficult competitive examination. So I'll ask him one question and then I'll tell you how this brilliance has panned out. Did you focus in those 2 weeks specifically on Assam part, or you continued whatever your journey so far was of UPSC?
Sir, major time I gave to Assam part. The maximum time, because thankfully the overlap between the syllabus of these two examinations is fairly high. So if one is preparing for UPSC in a very serious manner, it should not be a difficult task to complete at least, if not anything, at least 70% of the APSC syllabus.
Correct.
As far as the prelims examination is concerned. The remaining 30% is a very difficult part. As you mentioned that if not the same, I categorize the APSC prelims exam to be more difficult in nature, because the questions are very objective in nature, and even the scope of the things that we try to do, for example elimination, is very less, because whatever we try we may not be able to come to an answer, and the risk is too big to take. If we do not know even 3 of the options out of 4, the risk is too big to take. Let's mark an answer and see, take that risk. So that is not, otherwise the negative marking that would jeopardize the entire correct answers that we have got in other questions. So in a nutshell, if I have to say that if we are focusing on our UPSC, if somebody is focusing on the UPSC part of this examination, it is very important to have our basics correct.
Right.
Because if we have our basics correct, we can definitely build on to the Assam part, which is objective in nature by far.
So if I understand correctly, you're asking aspirants to focus on conceptual clarity more, getting your foundations solid, and then look at the peripheral things which are factual in nature.
Absolutely. There is no compromise on that part.
Right.
There is no compromise on that part.
All right. So to highlight the brilliance of his mind, let me frame the second aspect of it. There are students, without taking any names, who have written 4 to 5 mains and yet could not clear the mains examination. And here is a gentleman sitting who studied for 50 odd days, and he cracked it with very good marks. I'm sure he must have received good marks in personality test as well, but without good marks in mains, he could not have secured the rank he has secured, right? So how would you guide students about comprehending first creating a plan and then executing it? How did you come up with generating that kind of capabilities where you were able to crack APSC Mains within a span of 50 days?
That's a tough question, I must say, because there was no one clear path to it. But yes, as you mentioned, the first part to take that journey, to begin that journey with, is planning. Sir, most of us aspirants coming from that side of the classroom, I can tell for sure that it took me a great amount of time to realize the importance of planning in our journey. We are trained to just attempt and study. You study, you attempt, we'll see what happens. I'm sorry, this has backfired, at least for me. I don't know about others. My humble submission to everybody is, please plan. Planning is super important. You have to first start with what you want to do and make small targets. A small target can be for one day or maximum for a week. That this is 5 days I'm going to study this week, and in this 5 days these are the things that I'm going to study, this is the subject I'm going to study, these are the topics I'll cover, and then subsequently not only read or write, also try to attempt test.
Right.
If it's a prelims exam, try to attempt the MCQs. If it's mains, then there is no alternative to answer writing. Coming specifically for mains, answer writing has no alternative. We all have to do it. It takes time. In answer writing, content is not the problem. It's not the issue. Patience is.
Patience is.
Because as an aspirant who wrote this year also APSC Mains, when I first wrote my first mains answer, I think it was ethics paper I wrote, and when I had it evaluated, I got very poor, and my whole life shattered. I felt like, low, I have 50 odd days, and that too also I'm not able to write good answers. And ethics is a scoring subject, relatively scoring subject than the other GS paper. This is where I found I particularly gave that to myself, ki I have to have patience now. And thankfully it happened. I eventually started getting, in a lot of evaluated copies, I started getting 130, 140 in ethics. So which was, I considered it to be a good mark. So patience is extremely important as far as we are writing answers. To not judge yourself on the very first day is the main aspect here.
Right. So one critical element, if you have observed, he is very humble. It's not an easy task to convert low score into 130 plus marks in a matter of 50 days. So it's your humility that's getting reflected. But to reflect on what he just said, he highlighted the importance of planning. And if I'm not wrong, it was Epictetus who mentioned this. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Right.
Does he reflect what you're saying? He said, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail.
True.
This is what.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, this is my humble submission to all the aspirants that please take planning very seriously. If you cannot plan, please take help from the mentors. If you do not feel comfortable interacting with mentors individually, then please submit or please surrender to some good plan, because plan will take care of 90% of the workload. There will be a cognitive offloading, and whatever cognitive space you are left with, you will be able to invest in actual studying. Having said that, let me come back to you. There are a couple of questions which I intend to ask. The first one is how your family value system has shaped your journey so far.
So I don't think I have the right answer to this question, because this answer has multiple levels. On a very basic level, a journey or a career in civil service is something that I have seen in my house every day, because my father was a government servant. He retired.
Right.
So every day waking up and seeing a person going to a office for 8 hours was something that I have seen in my life. So I felt in my initial days ki this is how life is. Everybody would be doing this. By the time I had senses ki this is a choice, this is a career that we have to pursue, that is how I got to know that there is this examination and all these things are going on. Particularly if you ask about family, my family told me one thing, that apart from your intellect and whatever interests you are, that is a different matter. It is very important to have discipline in your life. My father particularly is a very disciplined man. My mother on the other side is a very emotional person, extremely. So if you also talk to my sister, my elder sister, you will see that both of us are a combination of discipline and emotion. On one side, we may appear to be extremely gullible, but at the other side, you might also see us that we are not afraid of taking the hard yards. So these are kind of the values that our family has always tried to imbibe into us. That has helped, because this exam tests our patience extremely, because we may study for 364 days, but that one day decides our future. And in that one day, if maybe for any reason we are unable to perform, the entire effort of those 364 days, it goes into vain. And it's very heartbreaking as an aspirant to witness that. And for somebody like me who has witnessed it for many years now. And UPSC is not the only UPSC or APSC is not the only exam that I have appeared. There were other exams also, and I have seen failures in them as well. So in those days, my parents never for a moment they expressed any doubt in me. My elder sister particularly has been a constant source of a guidance. Ki you do it. There is no problem. We know you can do it. You just do it. I think as an aspirant, as somebody, and by virtue of my age also, as somebody, we would always want the support from our family. I think that is the least, and that is also the most that they can provide.
Right.
Because I don't expect them to know what I'm studying,
Right.
or how am I writing answers, or I don't expect them to evaluate my answers. For that, I have you in my life. But from them, I would want ki if that's a bad day, they just tell me it's okay. Tomorrow is going to be a new day.
That's so rightly put. That's very well worded. Let me take this opportunity to compliment your parents as well. That I'm sure they must have given you very good sanskar. Otherwise, to articulate in such a good way, complimenting their existence without mentioning actual compliments is a very rare task, and you have successfully done it. And let me tell you something, and probably this will help other aspirant as well. By this one success, you have added minimum 10 years to your parents' life.
Thank you, sir.
And that's probably the biggest achievement that one can expect.
Surely.
So, for students also, whatever problems your family is going through, one success is actually going to solve 99% of those problems. So, if any day if you feel demotivated, don't look for motivation, look for discipline, because your family will benefit from your discipline more than one momentary motivation. I categorically wanted to interact with this gentleman for this very reason. The day we met, he had long hairs. he was like a rock star. He had a very long hair. Like if you see from behind, you would confuse him for being a lady officer or girl. But look at him now. Coming back to the core concept of discipline, your answer just reminded me of one very good quote from Art of War. That goes like, the more you sweat on a practice ground, the less you bleed on a battleground.
True, very true.
So you don't have to do any experimentation on your battleground. Sweat more on your practice ground. Make as many mistakes as possible, but in practice ground. And for that, you need absolute discipline for showing up every single day. One of my closest friend who got Indian Foreign Service in very first attempt, she used to tell us, and I'm sharing this with you,
yes,
that for everyone, the world is 360 degree, because the world is circular. So for everyone, world is 360 degree. But for me, that means for her, I'm quoting her, but for me, the world was just 60 degree, because my eye span is this much, and whatever comes in my eye span is going to be my world.
True.
And that was a book. She secured, if I'm not wrong, 103 or 113 rank, all India rank, and currently posted in Vietnam. Coming back to your story, there are three questions. First of all, what are the myths that you would like to burst? Those who are in the minds of the aspirants.
Sir, it's difficult to count them.
Top three myths.
First, that APSC is an easy exam. If you are studying for UPSC, APSC will.
It's a myth, or
it's a myth.
It's a myth.
It's a totally not even a myth. I would say it's a wrong statement. It's injustice to the nature of the exam, and it's also demeaning to belittle this examination. It's not at all easy. And yes, there is an overlap with the UPSC exam, as I mentioned earlier as well. But it's not easy. It requires separate, dedicated efforts.
Correct.
Separate, totally. Second is current affairs current affairs can sail your boat. Current affairs can give you that wind, but it will not be your base.
Correct. Thank you
It
thank you
will
so
not
much
be.
for mentioning this.
It cannot be
Hmm.
in all the three stages.
Hmm.
I'm including interview as well,
Right.
because in interview also, I've some of my friends whom I have been interacting,
Hmm.
some of our colleagues who have got selected, and we have
Hmm.
been interacting for a few days now. They have also told that they were asked questions very similar to what the basics of, say for example, international relations is.
Hmm.
They have, by this time when our interviews were there, for example, the bilateral relations was most about tariffs.
Hmm.
Right, that is a current affairs part, but they did not ask that.
Hmm.
Most of them had questions on India-US relations,
Hmm.
and not tariffs particularly.
Hmm.
As I go for mains,
Hmm.
because some subjects may prompt you to think ki current affairs is a key, for example, science and tech and
Hmm.
all this. But that's true, that I'm not denying that. But you cannot write any answer of any particular of all the 6 papers,
Hmm.
including essay,
Hmm.
with only current affairs. My humble submission: please get your basics get. Basics is the important. Those standard sources that we study for prelims exam, for mains exam, they are the most like holy books
Hmm.
that an aspirant can have, and that is going to benefit you. Your current affairs is a value addition. Don't run after that.
Right.
You run after that only when you have your basics done.
Right.
Third myth would be that any particular subject
Hmm.
can be ignored.
Can be ignored.
Yeah,
Huh.
that it's okay. GS3 mostly deals around economy, Indian economy, or even in APSC context, maybe Assam economy.
Hmm.
And Assam economy is about the tea plantations, the agriculture sector. That is going to be fine. Or for example, GS1, there is a mention of education, for that matter, education, health, all these things. So state education policies and all is fine. I just want to ask everybody to go back to GS1 paper this year. There was a question on Kothari Commission recommendation. Now just tell me, how do you write this exam? Write this question without even knowing what Kothari Commission,
Correct.
when was it constituted, what were its recommendations. As an aspirant, most of the things I did not even know. But I just attempted it, knowing that it has been most of its recommendations were implemented in NEP 2020.
NEP 2022.
So I took a
Informed guess.
informed guess ki this is what the government must have done. And when I went back home and read it on internet, I found that yes, it was true.
So do I need to prove any further what brilliance of mind he has?
So these are like, to sum up what you asked, these are like the myths that in our competitive exam, especially UPSC, APSC exams, we come across ki you can have any subject covered in 5 days, for that matter. There are like 10-page short notes for any
Correct.
subject. There is no shortcut to success. I learned it the hard way, because initially even I thought ki maybe before exam I can just read these short notes which are prepared by somebody. If you have your own short notes prepared, fine. Somebody else preparing short notes for me and then I'm reading that, it's never going to suffice. It is never. We are just preparing ourselves to fail on a larger scale.
Larger scale.
And the best example is me, simply because I had done it, I experienced it, and I failed and I learned.
Right.
And hence I'm telling, like, people who are watching or listening to me, that this is, you don't necessarily need to fail first. You can just listen
Learn from the mistakes of
learn
the
from
others.
me. Yeah.
One minor question. What do you think? How much a language plays a role? Like if somebody who's say from Akomia background and does not understand English as much, or does not have as much confidence in English, how would you advise him or her? What is the role of language in whole process?
Sir, I'll come back to that just a moment later. I'll come to first the interview stage. As far as language is concerned. Even in the mock interviews that I gave, right, the panelists first always ask ki what is going to be your preferred language. Some say English, some say Assamese. In the limited number of mocks that I appeared for, I do not think that for a single mock interview there was a preference, there was a bias against Assamese speaking people.
Correct.
So that one thing has to be cleared first, because the entire process of the interview, that is where the language comes. I particularly, my preferred language in mains was also English, So I have little idea about the convenience of an aspirant to write in Assamese, but my humble observation has told me, has made me understand that language can be a challenge, but it can be only if we are trying to learn something at this stage of our lives.
Right.
For example, for an Assamese aspirant, if he or she is not very comfortable with English, please appear in Assamese. Because the level that one may say that there is a bias and all these things, I have not seen it. I have not experienced it. And hence, I feel that there is nothing against it as far as this APSC examination is concerned. And even in our mentorship that we attend, the classes we attend, the teachers, the mentors that give us guidance and all, I personally and all the people I have talked, we have never come across this kind of thing that any aspirant or any mentor telling us कि maybe your Assamese can go against you, right? Just because you are Assamese, so that might go. I have never come across this, and I have not heard anybody saying कि I was an Assamese aspirant and this is what the panelists told me, because I appeared mock interviews at different places. Nobody told me that. So what you asked basically, my humble suggestion is कि appear in the language, appear in the medium you are comfortable with. Don't try to perfect yourself. Don't try to imitate anybody else, because that's not going to work. The panelists sitting in front of you, the real interview panelists, they very well know when are you lying, when are you faking it, and when are you being truthful about yourself. So it's very important, very safe to be just truthful. And as we are always taught, if you do not know, just simply say, sir, I'm unaware. Ma'am, I'm unaware. And maybe they'll just go on.
Great. So, thank you for that very insightful answer. There are lots of aspirants who are of your age. Some are younger, some are elder to you. So, there is something that I have observed. I want to mention that to you, and you can agree, you can disagree, or you can modify it and communicate with the larger audience. My observation in last 1 year has been that the actual competition is relatively low, because large population of the aspirant are distracted. They are distracted by the social media, 30-second content, reels, etc. And their attention span has reduced to the extent that they cannot sit for 30 minutes long lectures. So, if you agree with this, what would you recommend for the future students who wish to clear the examination? If you disagree, what would be your suggestions otherwise?
So this is a true observation. I think we have talked about the importance of discipline already. I think discipline is extremely important. Why I say this? Because not every day is a very lovely day.
Correct.
Some days we wake up and we are not having any motivation to study. And we don't even realize when days become week, when weeks become month. That happens, right? We just wake up one day and suddenly we see that the entire day has passed. It's evening already. So these kind of things, they do happen in our lives. It's very human to happen. But what discipline or consistency brings in, it brings in devotion. And that devotion further breeds discipline. Because this is what I say, it's a cycle. It's a cycle. It's a virtuous cycle. So discipline and consistency brings devotion. Devotion further brings discipline.
Great.
So when we are really into what we are doing, and when we are motivated or guided by not the glamour of the exam, or we have our own cause of why we are doing it, that is where I think all the distractions, they stay within a limit, because distractions will be there. And you cannot just eliminate them overnight, or maybe time, because some kind of distractions are from our own loved people. For example, family. Right? We have our friends also. There will be a birthday of a close friend, which you have to attend. But if you are attending that, make sure you have completed your targets for that week. You have completed the targets of the respective day. If you have missed, then try to compensate on the next day. But next day, don't say ki I'm not aware, I am tired. Let's not try to make excuses. Let's put in the hard yards, because it happens.
I have something very important to share, but I'll say it in concluding remarks. But because you've reminded me of something very important, I'm going to put it on record,
Okay.
and time will tell if I was right or wrong. Uh, so I just have two final questions. First, if you wish to give certain tips to aspirants, what those would be, is my first question. And second question, um, utilizing this platform, like this interaction, if you want to express your gratitude towards anyone in your family or anybody towards your success, so I would urge you to do that. Then I'll end with my concluding remarks.
Okay. So tips to anybody listening would be, I think for the nth time in this interview, podcast, I'm going to say this: कि consistency and discipline.
Correct.
That is going to be the key. Don't run after notes. Notes is a part of our journey, but more important is an aspirant's their own their own hard work. That is very important, and nothing goes in vain. Whatever you study, be it a newspaper or a journal or a magazine or even our standard books, whatever you study, it's not going to be going in vain. Third thing would be to keep calm. है ना? Don't pressurize yourself unnecessarily. Don't try to imitate others. Right? This is a very subjective journey. Everybody has their own ups and downs. Everybody have their own way of doing things. Stick to that. Believe in yourself. Believing in yourself actually gives us not only hope but also strength, because that tells us that yes, I can do it. Because I had in my preparation days, in my journey as an aspirant till very recently, I had ups and downs. Even when the results were not out or the mains results were not out, I used to think, what if it does not happen this year? Then what am I going to do? Am I going to prepare for UPSC? Am I going to do again APSC? Or what else? That concern was always there. But over time, that trust came into me ki, yes, let's see what happens. Let me just trust the process. So that trusting the process is the main key in our journey, because patience is being tested. Any aspirant's patience is being tested. Other tips, I guess it's fine. I think everybody can do it. Also, always listen to people. Listen to people. When I say listen to your friends, listen to your like mentors, for example. Teachers or mentors, they come into classrooms, they talk about this is to be done, and maybe we don't follow it always. Even if in letter, not even in spirit. Right? So let's try to follow a particular strategy given by a particular XYZ person and stick to that. Don't go for Mr. X has given this, then Y is given this, Z is given that. Let me just amalgamate all these things and put it into one strategy. That is going to be counterproductive.
That's very important.
Yeah. So just listen to one person. If you have an elder brother or sister, if you want to listen to me for that matter, if you want to listen to your mentor, but choose one person and stick to that. Don't change your course in the mid. And okay, and the second part, the credits, I just don't know. There's a big long list. And I've already mentioned about my family, but special mention to my sister, my elder sister. She's a doctor, and I don't know what to say. Today she left for her postgrad, and it was a very emotional day for me. It has been an emotional day since then, and I love her to my heart, basically. But I think she has once told me, and that has always stayed with me, is that you can do it. I see that glitter in your eyes. So I take this opportunity to thank you, Dr. Pallavi Burman, that because of you, I have become what you always told me that I could. And friends, very important. It's very important to have friends, because this is a very lonely journey.
Yes.
Right? Every day we feel that maybe we are not enough. Maybe what we are doing is wrong. We are not getting the desired results, and that is where the part of the contribution of our friends come into. Because our family or our siblings, they are at a different stage of their life. They might not, they might be there with us emotionally, but not in a very everyday kind of a thing. That is where our friends come into. So my friends have been particularly very supportive. They've always said ki bhai tera ho jayega. And I have had friends in Delhi because I studied there, so they have been always very cool people, as the lingo there goes on. and I have to take some names, but I'm not doing justice to all maybe. But Kanishk Mahajan being one of them, Kartika Pathak, another Kumari Ruchika, another. So I just know that I'm doing injustice to all the other names that I have not taken. But these three particularly, because they are also in the same journey, they have appeared in their respective state government, state PCS exams, and also UPSC. And I just hope that good things happen to all of us. And that is it pretty much from my side.
All right. Um, so on that note, we would conclude. But before concluding, there is something that I would like to mention. Those of you who do not know me, I have had career in research and some aspect of national security. So for a brief period of time, my immediate boss was Dr. Vijay Kelkar, and then followed by one of the finest gentlemen who retired as DIB, Director Intelligence Bureau. So I want to take name of Dr. Vijay Kelkar. He is Padma Vibhushan. Dr. Vijay Kelkar is renowned expert of finance, economist. He is renowned economist. He is someone who he is one of the rarest of the rare individuals who qualified electrical and mechanical engineering together, and in both he secured rank 1. It was back then CUP government college had that opportunity given to a particular student who was absolutely brilliant. He was one of those. He eventually became finance secretary of India. He became he worked in IMF and World Bank. He is the one who is the mastermind behind the GST reforms. He is someone who came up with the FRBMS Act, which you must be aware of.
The Kelkar Task Force.
Kelkar Task Force. He was the chairman of Kelkar Task Force. He was the chairman of 13 Finance Commission. He has rendered extraordinary service to this country, and that's why he was awarded Padma Shri, then Padma Bhushan, and then Padma Vibhushan. And 35 years down the line, mark my words, the way I'm imagining things happening, if things turn out the way I'm comprehending in my mind, this gentleman sitting here would be filling shoes like of Dr. Vijay Kelkar's.
Thank you, sir.
And
it's a great honor to have to hear something like that.
No, 35 years down the line, this will still be on the record, and mark my word, your family, the whole Assam will be proud of what you're going to deliver.
Thank you so much.
On that note, again, congratulations.
Thank you.
And
Thank you
all the best for your rest of your career.
Thank you so much, sir.